Hi students, welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I am broadcasting to you live from beautiful Central Europe. Hi Nima Sultan, hi Pachu, good to see you in class as always. Hi Naima again, hi Summit, hi Vivliam. And welcome to your first class here. Hi Hung, good to see our members joining in. Hi Roshni, Ferdovs, a couple more of our members. Oh, Kisi, good to see you in class. All right, students, today it's IELTS speaking section, focusing on part 3, the detailed question part of the speaking interview with the follow-up questions. As usual, the materials for our classes come from our world-class IELTS preparation websites, aehelp.com, that's academicenglishhelp.com for the academic version of the test. That website looks like this. You can use it on your phone, tablet, PC. Lots of materials, videos, practice exams. Click the red button to join. And the general website looks like this with the green background. This one you can find at gieltshelp.com. That's general IELTShelp.com. Okay, before we get into it, a very, very important announcement. One last time. There are no classes from tomorrow all the way to the following week, Wednesday. So next week, there are no classes, live classes, but you can, of course, see the many, many videos that we have on our channel. And then the week after next, Wednesday, we will continue with more live streaming. However, I will be uploading a couple of high-definition full session videos during next week for you so that you can continue your studies. Thank you, Preeti. I'm looking forward to it. I will be in Venice, Italy over the next week. Students, if you have questions about the exam, about our products, don't be shy. There's no place for shyness in the exam. Send me an email, Adrian, A-D-R-I-A-N, at aehelp.com. Thank you, Abhay, for wishing me safe travels. All right, books, you can grab them, our exam books. We have a few of them for you. Search for AE Helps Academic IELTS or GE Helps General IELTS on Amazon, and you can get our books in digital or paperback version. Okay, so let's warm up our English speaking muscles, and you should always do that when you go for your official exam. Make sure to go early and make sure to speak English for at least a couple hours before your IELTS exam. This is a speaking class, so do a lot of repetition. Repeat what I say, repeat the sentences that I mention, okay? Make sure to repeat. It's very important to warm up those speaking muscles before your speaking exam, because when I'm testing students, I can always tell when a student is not speaking English before the interview. The reason is halfway in the interview, their speaking becomes much better. So after about 5 or 6 minutes, there's a very clear improvement in the speaking ability of the student. And I can see that. So I know that they did not speak before the interview in English. That's really bad, okay? So a quick tip here, this is just a really quick tip for everyone, is make sure to use English before the interview. That can save you easily a half band score or even more, okay? So this is a very important tip. Make sure to use English for at least an hour before your interview. This can easily be the difference of a half or even full band score. All right, the brain needs time to warm up. It's really important. Sounds logical, sounds reasonable, but many students forget to do that. Okay. All right, so let's warm up with just some examiner questions. Imagine you go into the exam. And of course, there will be an examiner waiting for you, most often a native English speaker or somebody who has a very, very high Band 9 level English speaking and communication skills. They will welcome you into the room. It will be just the two of you. And they will say, welcome to the speaking portion of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian, and I will be your examiner for this part of the test. Please take your seat. May I see your passport or your identification, please? How do you respond? Dinesh says, should I knock before entering? No, Dinesh, they'll call you in. The door should be opened for you. So, may I see your identification or passport, please? All right. Roshni says, yes, here it is. Mr. Cooper says, here you are, sir. Satisfying Time says, yes, sure, here you go. Kisi says, sure, here you are. Hung says, yes, here you are. Kwang Kai Ren says, sure, here it is. Aidana, nice and politely, says, yes, sir, please have a look. Preeti, also nice and polite, yes, sir, here it is, please have a look. Marasa says, yes, ma'am, or sir, please have a look. Absolutely, if it's a woman, please say ma'am, don't say sir, that would be very awkward. All right. Noor, colloquial, but also works, sure, here you are. For Dobbs, sure, have a look. A little bit impolite for Dobbs, but you can say it nicely. Sure, have a look, okay? So just make sure you say that one politely for Dobbs. Sure, have a look, okay? All right, those are all great. Sound natural, students. Practice sounding natural. Okay, here's my response. Yes, of course, please take a look. Okay, yes, of course, please take a look. All right, and then while they have your identification or your passport, they will look at your face, kind of like this, really looking at you, making sure that it is you. They will be looking for your facial features, your eyes, the color of your eyes. They'll look at the passport and they'll look at their sheet. They'll be matching names. And then the examiner, of course, will say, what is your full name? And they will also ask you, what should I call you if you don't include that piece? So you should always include that piece. So give me a nice answer. Practice answering this a few different ways, again, so you can sound natural, fluent, confident. What is your full name? Mr. Cooper says, yes, Dinesh, they will stare at you. Dinesh is saying, will they stare at you? Yes, they will, because they're looking to make sure that you're not just a fake person that looks like the person in your passport. Mr. Cooper says, my full name's Jakhongir Sodiev. You can call me Jakhongir. Okay, Mr. Cooper, that works. Satisfying Times says, my full name is Chabi Khalil, as you see on my passport, and you can call me Lilo. Very good, Satisfying Times. It's really nice. You refer to your passport, use a coordinating conjunction as, so that's really good. Okay, that works. Murasa says, my family name is Baraki, my given name is Murasa. Please address me by my first name. Very polite, Murasa. That works well also. Okay, that's very good. All right, let's take one more. Rahul Gurung says, my name is Rahul and my nickname is Ronak, so you can call me that. Rahul, don't forget to include your family name if they ask you for it. If you say that, Rahul, the examiner will actually say, oh, and what is your family name? So you have to say, my full name is Rahul Gurung and my nickname is Ronak, so you can please call me that. Okay, Rahul? Don't forget to include your family name when they ask for your full name, unless you have one name. It's rare, but I'm guessing Gurung is your full name because it's in your tag. So, all right. My full name is Francis McCormack. Please just call me by my nickname. I'm going to put what the student put there. I think it was Satisfying Times. I liked that. That was good. So my full name is Francis McCormack, as you can see in my identification. Please just call me by my nickname, Frank. Okay, so again, repeat after me nicely, students. What is your full name? My full name is Francis McCormack, as you can see in my ID. Please just call me by my nickname, Frank. Okay, all right. So then they will ask you a couple more questions, maybe one or two, to get you feeling comfortable, get you feeling fluent, confident, and you should, okay, make eye contact, look at the examiner, keep your arms kind of nice and open, remember to breathe, remember the sun will shine tomorrow, and then the examiner may say, please introduce yourself in a few words. Please introduce yourself in a few words. If you hear that, you should think work, hobby, school, residence, family status. Okay, now don't go off the handle and start telling everything about your life from when you were born until your future ambitions. Just focus on a couple of key points and summarize it as best you can with some good linking words, okay? So be ready for this question. Dinesh, do not freak out if they doubt you about your identity. If you are who you say you are, they're not going to doubt your identity, okay? All right, so again, the examiner says, please introduce yourself in a few words. So think work, hobby, school, where you live, family status. That's kind of the idea there. All right, Satisfying Time says, I'm a normal adult, 27 years of age and single. I'm an employee at an accounting firm, and I live with my parents for now, as rent is quite expensive these days. And stop there, Satisfying Times. There's no point in saying I have a ton of hobbies, because if you don't say what they are, it doesn't really have value. Okay, don't include information, students, that doesn't have value. Like don't say and so on or etc. Right? Ali Ayman says, well, I live in Alexandria and I study in the Faculty of Languages and Translations at Al-Azhar University in Cairo. Okay, but I see why you included but, Ali, sorry. On my holidays, I work as a freelance translator, or Ali, it would be better to say in my spare time. So Ali, let me read that one more time. Try not to use the word but over and over. So, well, I live in Alexandria, but I study in the Faculty of Languages and Translation at Al-Azhar University. And in my spare time, I work as a freelance translator. That would be the better way, okay? All right. So, Dobbs says, well, I'm 33 years old and I work as an accountant, or sorry, one more time for Dobbs. Well, I'm 33 years old and I work as an account manager at Dannon LLC. As well, I'm married with 2 children, and in my leisure time, I not only play football, but also like to hang out with my friends. Fantastic. For Dobbs, I did a little bit of change there to make it more natural. Make sure to listen back to that, okay? And practice that. One more, Esra Gutaz says, my name is Esra. I'm 23 years old. I graduated from computer sciences and currently teach in that department. I work as a secretary. I'm living in Turkey, and my hometown is Eskişehir. Okay, I hope I pronounced some of those names right. All right, so you have the right idea. Yeah, that's what you want to say. All right, well, I'm 39 years old. I'm married and have a 3-year-old daughter. My hobbies include surfing in the summer and skiing in the winter. As well, I work in the education field as an expert instructor in the IELTS exam. Okay, so that's my response there. Same idea what you're doing, family status, profession, hobbies. Repeat after me. Please introduce yourself in a few words, okay? So it means few words, 30 words, no more, not 200 words, okay? It's not an essay. It's not a part 2. So, well, I'm 39 years old. I'm married and have a 3-year-old daughter. My hobbies include surfing in the summer and skiing in the winter. As well, I work in the education field as an expert instructor for the IELTS exam. All right, so that is the introductions, and then you get into part 1, where the examiner will ask you some general questions about what your beliefs are or what you like, your preferences, colors, food, hobbies. And then they will move to part 2 after about 5 minutes. For part 2, you will get a card with some questions, and then you will speak for about 2 minutes. After that, they will stop you, and then they will continue with part 3. For part 3, they will say, okay, that is the end of part 2. I will take back the card with the questions, as well as the note paper and the pen that I gave you, and now we will continue with part 3. For part 3, I will ask you questions related to the topic of part 2. Let's talk errands. Okay, students, so before we get going with our part 3 questions, what are errands? So what is an errand? What is that? What's the definition of the word errand? Assignments, task, a short trip. It's a little bit more. You're on the right track. So assignment is kind of on the right track. Yeah. Okay, Bits and George says that errands are basically daily duties. So they're tasks that we do on a regular basis. Absolutely, that's what an errand is. Now, if you don't know the definition of errands, don't panic, okay? So don't freak out. Don't be like, oh man, I don't know what an errand is. I'll never be able to answer. Just stay calm. What should you do? So if you don't know the definition of errands, what's the first thought that you should have? So if you have trouble figuring out the definition of the topic for your part 3 question, what should you do? Okay, errands means, so now you'll know, it means daily tasks or responsibilities that people do regularly. Okay, that's what an errand is. What should you do? So Roshni says, listen to the question, of course, yeah. What else can you do? So if you don't know, the topic, First of all, don't panic. That's your worst enemy, panic, okay? Secondly, wait for the question. And very importantly, keep in mind, what? What should you keep in mind? Dinesh, you can ask to elaborate, but the examiner will not. And you can ask them for the meaning, but they won't give you the definition. Okay? You can ask them, Ali, to rephrase, but they will not likely rephrase the question. They're instructed not to give you that kind of help. Okay? They will not give you synonyms. But thankfully, there is another piece of useful information, which is part 2. Okay, so remember, part 3 is connected to part 2. So remember that errands has to be in some way connected to what part 2 was about. Now, we didn't do part 2 today, but it was probably about some kind of routine task or some kind of a chore or activity that you do every day. Okay, so remember that there's a connection to part 2. A lot of students seem to forget that when they get to part 3. So remember that this is in a strong way connected to part 2 questions. So keep that in mind. Okay? You should not start talking about an idea completely different from part 2, because then you're probably off topic. Does that make sense? Did you catch that? So if you don't know the topic word, don't panic. Just remember, okay, it's something in connection to part 2. I just have to keep that in mind. All right? Okay, so don't panic. All right. Thank you for confirming that, Typhoon. Macpreet, you can ask for the meaning, but they will not tell you. Okay, they can't give you that help. It's an exam. It's not an English class. Okay, so just remember to stay on the topic of part 2. Okay, all right. So that's a valuable tip. Let's go to the first question. So here it is. And already you can see that this helps you figure out the meaning of errands. So the examiner asks you, what are common responsibilities that people manage every month in society? So what are common responsibilities that people manage every month in society? Give me a nice answer for this question. Don't overcomplicate. Okay, keep your thoughts simple. This is not a university doctorate physics exam. This is an IELTS exam. A high school student should be able to answer this no problem if they have English skills. Okay. So Satisfying Time says, I guess the most common duties that individuals perform in society is helping poor people as well as cleaning the streets. For instance, last week, me and my neighbors were. Okay, I think you're off topic there, Satisfying Times. It's arguable what you're saying, but it's not really what the question is looking for. So what are common responsibilities? I don't think most people run around every month helping poor people or clean the streets. So what are responsibilities that we do every month? Now, Bits and George says bills. Okay, bills is the right idea, Bitson, but you need to give me that in a full sentence. Okay, I want to give you a high band score, and you have the correct idea, but I can only give you a high band score if you put that in a full sentence for me. Okay. So Dinesh says, well, I think the common responsibilities include paying bills and keep going, Dinesh, and what? Okay. Raj says responsibilities are to control consumption of electricity and water in the house. Okay. Typhoon says, I think that paying bills monthly is a common responsibility. Otherwise, people lose money or even their house. Yeah? Macpreet, you're saying, well, I guess probably duties vary from person to person in terms of work, family, and managing a budget. Try not to give these kind of loosey-goosey responses, Macpreet. So instead of saying, well, it could be A, it could be B, it could be C, it could be D, try to focus on just a couple and say, this is what people do. Okay. Guang Kai Ren says, pay taxes. Sure. Every month, our responsibilities include getting our paycheck, taking it to the bank, paying our taxes, and our bills. Very good. So I'm using a combination of what some of you are saying. What else? So other than just paying bills and picking up our salary, what else do we do? Marasa, cleaning the streets and having better security systems. I'm not sure. Maybe in your part of the world, yes, but it doesn't seem like that. Again, think simple. I'm looking for some simple errands, simple responsibilities, and I'm glad that so many people thought of bills, but there are a couple others that we do, like cleaning our house, for example. I don't see anybody saying that. And of course, another one is buying groceries. I guess that most of us would go at least once a month to the grocery store to fill the fridge so that we have food for breakfast, lunch, dinner, right? So keep it simple. Visualize. Picture it. Okay. Again, remember, a high school student should be able to answer this question. Don't overthink it. Okay. Don't overthink it. So, well, I suppose that a few of the common errands in most societies include paying monthly bills for rent or mortgage, as well as buying groceries to fill the fridge, and cleaning the home. In fact, I just spent 3 hours tidying up my house yesterday. Okay, so there's your Band 9 answer. I'll bring that down so you can see it in one piece. Just a moment. Here we go. So repeat after me. What are common responsibilities that people manage every month in society? Repeat after me. Well, I suppose that a few of the common errands in most societies include paying monthly bills for rent or mortgage, as well as buying groceries to fill the fridge and cleaning the home. In fact, I just spent 3 hours tidying up my house yesterday. Okay, so again, notice my answer and notice my example. Okay, that's a Band 9. If I wanted, I might include an explanation so we don't lose our house or we don't get into financial trouble. Could include a little bit more, but this will be a Band 9 response. Does that make sense? So does it make sense how I included that smooth flowing example to really push that Band 9 score? Does that make sense? Okay. And again, not overcomplicating, right? So keeping it simple, keeping it simple. All right, students, and then comes the following question, or the follow-up question here. Why is it important to do these on time? Okay, so here's the next question. Why is it important to do these on time? Now, this is how part 3 in the speaking is unique from part 1, is that you have much more deep questions with these follow-up questions from the examiner. Okay, so why is it important to do these on time, meaning these errands? All right. So satisfying time says it's not just important, but it's an obligation, because without being punctual, Life can become a chaos, from not having foods to overdue bills and our house being a mess. Okay, satisfying times. You have a great start to your response. I just added a couple of even more words and connections there to make it that much clearer. Chaos, Kulwan Singh. Chaos means disorder, disorganization. Okay, it's the opposite of order. All right. Ferdovs says, sure, if people don't make payments on time, they will pay extra charges. And it's not only bad for every individual, but also for society. Ferdovs, very good answer. I just tweaked your grammar a little bit to make it correct. Okay. Bits and George says, not doing them on time can lead to problems in many sectors, and most importantly, will portray us as being irresponsible. Very good, Bits and George. Nice answer. That'll work. That'll get you a high band score. Okay, band 8, band 9. Say that fluently for sure. Raheem says, well, I believe that if we do not do this on time, it will lead to trouble, like disconnection of utilities, which will surely stop all kinds of work since electricity is no longer available. All right, good. Typhoon says, time is crucial and we need to manage it so that we can finish our duties on time. That's why it's significant. Okay, couple of slight corrections there, but that works. Of course, yeah. So here's my answer. Being punctual. Punctual means on time. Being punctual with these responsibilities is not only important, so we'll take what satisfying time started with. That was very nice. Important, but often it is an obligation. Obligation means it has to be done. If bills are overdue, the house is in chaos, and there is no food in the fridge, life will very quickly become difficult and unenjoyable. Okay, and I'll stop there. That's lots. Nice use of connectors. So not only, but here it is an obligation. If bills are overdue, so here I'm using a condition. Okay, notice the lexical resource here. So punctual, meaning on time. Overdue, meaning past payment. Chaos, meaning disorganized. Okay, and notice also that I'm making strong connections to my previous answer. So my previous answer, I said paying the mortgage or rent, filling the fridge, and cleaning the house. When the examiner follows up to that question, I don't just completely switch the information and say some new random information. It's not the end of the world, but a better way, a way to get a higher band score, is to make a connection to what you just said. So continue with those ideas of paying bills, keeping the house tidy, and filling the fridge with food. Does that make sense, students? So is it clear why I'm making that connection to improve my coherence score? Is that clear? Okay, is that clear? All right, thank you for confirming that, students. So now, let's move to the next question, okay? And I'll try to get as many students as I can. So here we go with the next question. If I don't catch your responses every time, don't worry about it. Just keep practicing. Make sure to keep repeating. Okay, here we go. How has technology helped people to complete their social tasks such as banking? Okay, so answer that first question. How has technology helped people to complete their social tasks such as banking? Okay, give me a nice answer, full sentence. Okay, full sentence answer. All right, satisfying times. I have a feeling you're working ahead to get the answers out so quickly, which is clever of you. All right. Satisfying times says technology advancements has dominated in the last years, especially when it comes to secure banking. It has been made easy with the tap or click of a finger. Thus, it has many advantages. Okay, satisfying times. Careful, careful. I think you're losing yourself in your response there. Okay, Esther Cyril Igata says, advancements in technology has influenced us positively, especially the use of ATM machines in sending and receiving money from the bank. Okay, good. Take out the also by improving advert, Esther. That's unnecessary and it's awkward and confusing. Okay. Jyoti Gohel says, I'm worried about my IELTS study. Can you give me some important lessons in the part of reading and speaking? Jyoti, you're in here with 150 students who are focusing on this speaking part 3 question. I can't possibly sidetrack to answer that for you, but if you send me an email, I can certainly give you some advice, all right? The email you can find at the beginning and end of classes. All right. Ferdobbs says, technology not only has improved, technology, Ferdobbs, use it in singular usually, okay? So singular form, not plural. So technology not only has improved people's opportunity, but also saves time and money. Like nowadays, individuals pay bills, taxes, and even order fruits and vegetables by phone or through the internet. That's right, Ferdobbs. Very good. Nice answer. So I love how many of you are respecting the grammatical form of the question. Has technology helped? It's present perfect. It's showing expectation. So it's very important that in your answer, you also use the present perfect form. Okay? Gagandeep Singh says, I believe that technology has changed our lives dramatically in recent years. For instance, banking has become safer and more convenient as we can access our bank account with the blink of an eye through the internet. Gagandeep, finish that sentence. With the blink of an eye through the internet. Because if you just say with the blink of an eye, I'm going to say, what do you mean, blink of an eye? Like teleport into the bank and grab some money, teleport out? No, through internet banking, right? So remember, the examiner is an alien. They're clever, but they don't know what you know, all right? Roshni, well, technology has revolutionized the way people do their errands, especially purchase education through internet banking, like buying academic IELTS help courses through aehelp.com online. Thank you, Roshni, for setting up that sales pitch for me. Just kidding. But no, you're right. Okay, that was a good example. Roshni, use the word revolutionized as the verb. So technology has revolutionized. Okay, Roshni, technology has revolutionized. Do it like that. All right. Okay, those are great answers. So, certainly, managing money and other errands have been revolutionized through modern applications of technology like internet banking. These days, I can pay my bills and even order groceries with the click of a button from the comfort of my home. All right. So there is my answer. Repeat after me, nice and loudly. Students, nice and loudly. Here we go. How has technology helped people to complete their social tasks, such as banking? Okay. Here we go. Certainly, managing money and other errands have been revolutionized through modern applications of technology like internet banking. These days, I can pay my bills and even order groceries with the click of a button from the comfort of my home. That will surely get you a nice high band score. Okay, so that will be a good response. Now here comes the follow-up. Okay, follow-up question. Okay, here we go. What are the disadvantages of this? Okay, so what are the disadvantages of using technology to complete our tasks like banking? Kind of a tricky question. Might even want to say that. Might want to ask for some time here to think of a good answer, right? When we think technology, running errands, we usually think positive. We usually think that can only be good, but certainly there must be some negatives. All right. So, Satisfying Time says the absolute fear of involving technology in our life is the level of security, as nothing is perfect, and computer hacking or computer crime is common these days. As well, a lot of people are unfamiliar with security measures. Satisfying Times, pay attention to your word form and your grammar. Your ideas are good, but your word form and your grammar is at times confusing, so be careful. Rupinder Kaur says, sometimes technology is complicated, it becomes frustrating to use, and it can even crash, causing financial or other problems. Roshvai Subaid says cybercrime, but Roshan Vai, you need to put that into a complete sentence, okay? Here we're talking about the disadvantages, Ali, not the advantages. Okay, so make sure you say disadvantages. So Ali says there are lots of disadvantages. For instance, a person's bank account can get hacked. Another point that comes to mind, don't use the word thing, Ali. Don't use the word you. Okay, you're not talking about me. You're talking about people. And you're talking about specific points and objects, not about general things. So avoid you, avoid things in your response. That's for everyone. So Ali says there's a lot of disadvantages. For instance, people's bank accounts can get hacked. Another point that comes to mind is that many people, especially in Saudi Arabia, don't know how to use these technologies. Okay, sure. All right. So I might respond by saying, well, that's a tricky question. I need a moment to think. Okay, and it's okay to do that. And then think for a few seconds. It's absolutely okay to think for a few seconds. And then respond by, well, I guess that much of today's technology has led people to become antisocial. What I mean is that people used to talk to each other when buying groceries at the local market. But these days, there's less of these interactions as people like myself just make orders online. Okay, so yeah, you're right. Cybercrime is okay. That's fine. That's a good answer. If you want to be a little bit more unique and original, you might come up with the answer of antisocial. People don't interact with each other as often as they used to when they run errands because they don't have face-to-face interactions. They don't go to the bank and talk to a teller. They don't go to the grocery store and talk to Mr. Smith when buying their apples. Okay, so repeat after me. What are the disadvantages of this? Well, that's a tricky question. I need a moment to think. I guess that much of today's technology has led people to become antisocial. What I mean is that people used to talk to each other when buying groceries at the local market, but these days there's less of such interactions as people, like myself, just make orders online. Okay? Again, make sure you repeat me when I say these sentences. So when you use a word like antisocial, it's a very good idea to explain yourself, and you can use this very good phrase in your speaking, what I mean is, and then explain what you mean by antisocial. Give a clear explanation or an example. Is that clear? Is it clear why and how I used this phrase, what I mean? Does that make sense? And also notice, of course, this phrase at the beginning, to buy time. Well, that's a tricky question. I need a moment to think. It's absolutely okay to do that. It's absolutely okay to buy time for these. Thank you, Patricio. Thank you, Pachu and Nurlan, for confirming that. I appreciate it. Okay, students, so here are some more Part 3 questions. Are there any errands that people do these days which did not exist 50 years before? Will there be new regular tasks in the future that we don't have today? If you're doing a great job, the examiner might continue by saying, let's talk about productivity. Why is it important for people to be productive during the work week? What happens when individuals stop being productive? And what can be done to improve productivity and decrease stress? Does this always work? These questions and follow-up questions I will challenge you to complete on your own. You can record your answers on your mobile phone. Send your answers to my email and I will send you a score estimate of how you do. This is your homework. That's right, Roshni. I gave you lots of examples of what you need to do. Now you need to practice. So you can do that on your own time. And when you have your MP3, just shoot me an email, adrian@aehelp.com, and I will be very, very happy to give you a score assessment and let you know about how many bands you would get for that. Students, again, just a very important reminder, no classes from now until the 25th. I will be back June 26th with some more live IELTS. But do check out the channel. I will be uploading some new videos in the next 10 days to keep you excited, keep you learning. Don't worry, I won't forget about you in those 10 days. I'll keep you in mind. Check us out. The best that you can do for yourself. Spend a couple dollars, really learn quality information, and get a high band score on the exam. Check us out at aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for general. You're very welcome, students. Thank you for all those thank yous. Much love to all of you. You're brilliant people. Just keep going forward. Believe in yourselves. English is not just for the IELTS. It's for success in life. It will be a valuable tool, and that will help you in the future. Bye for now, everyone. Have a great rest of your day and a fantastic weekend.